You'll never be a Steven Spielberg. Okay, so this is a frame for the
Okay,
brood.
start again. Okay, ready, go.
This is the frame for the brood box, and I'm going to put a wax foundation, a wired wax foundation into this frame. All right, so here is your top bar, and it contains the wedge, and I'm going to remove the wedge, and this is the bottom bar. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just flip it, use a, what do you call this, Neil?
Knife.
Oh, special knife. And I'm just going to slip it in. It's already pre-cut. I just want to attach it and just lift the wedge off. Oh, perfect. And I'm just going to set this aside. Whew, very nicely done. Okay, once you've got that removed, I am going to, if you look at the sidebar, you've got 4 holes, and I'm going to string wire between the 2 middle ones. You can do as many wires through, but I just find I'm going to do, I'm going to use the 2 middle ones, and I'm going to string it through. I'm going to put a little nail, Oni's nails, furniture nail, right in the middle. So come on over to my little shop over here. And I'm going to place it down, get a little tack, furniture tack, and place it in. This is probably the hardest part of the job. And just tack it in. Yeah, secured. And let's go back to my other area. And my husband made this little framey thing so I can set it in. All right, so the next thing I do, I put my little eyelets in the hole. This is another tricky thing when you have big hands like mine. So I'm just gonna put it in, and I'm gonna put one in the other side. They'll come out, but just reminds me to have it in so the wire doesn't cut the wood, because it's pretty soft, it's pine. All right, so thread it through. To the other side. Pinch it through. Oh, my little eyelet came off, but let's put it back in. All right, pull the wire through. Put the eyelet, I am going to thread it this way, it's easier. And put the wire through the hole. And I can just make sure the eyelet's back in place. Pull it through. Thread this eyelet. Not yet. Put it in. Oops, and then thread that in. All right, and now I'm just going to secure the end of this, wrap it a couple of times around the nail, just like that. And then I'm going to wind the wire so it's taut. Just pull this out a bit so I can get it taut. Okay, make sure your eyelets are still in place here. Just fiddle with it a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And then I press this down, the back of I press it down when I've got my tightness in. Okay, and then when I don't cut my wire yet, I wrap it around the nail, making sure I still maintain the tightness. Okay, and then I use my little cutters, cut it off, and take it back over and nail. I'm gonna pound that nail back down so it keeps the wires. Okay. And then trim all the excess off. Go back to your little shop over here. Using your wire cutters, trim it off. There you go. Looking good. Okay, so let's put our foundation in. So as you can see, when you look at this, you removed the wedge. So you've got this nice flat surface where your foundation is going to lie against, and then you're going to wedge it in with this wedger. Okay, so the first thing is, look at your wax foundation. Just put it up to the light and see where your wires are extended here. And then let's have a look at this side. There's the wires aren't really extending. Well, there is one here. There is one here, right here. Okay, so I'm going to have this end, because it looks like it's got the most little wires sticking out. That's going to go in the top, lie against the platform that is there, the groove, the top groove. I'm going to have that with the wires sticking out. That's going to be the right side. So I'm going to just keep it like this. I'm going to put the foundation into the bottom board first, the bottom groove first. See that? Actually, this has, notice that it's got a few little wires sticking there, but I don't know. Maybe I should have this one at the top. I think I'm going to flip it because there are some long wires right here. There's wires up here, but I think it's easier. I'm going to flip it because they will go in to the bottom groove a lot smoother. There. All right. Now, just use your fingers to make sure it's all down, and you can see there that it needs to just make sure that it's all down. You can feel when it does slide into the groove. Okay, now the top groove, just use your thumb and gently, because you don't want to break the wax, you've got to sort of gently kind of bow it out and just push it against the one side of the groove. Just gently do it. It's a really nice warm day today, so the wax is more pliable. Yeah, and those little wires. I have two perfect little wires that stick out, and when I put my wedge in there, it's going to be perfect. It'll just hold it, but most of the sheets that I have don't have that wire extending. Okay, so once you have it in, you can tell you've got it in perfectly if you can move it, if you can move your foundation. Oops, and I don't have it. I've got to move this guy down. I need to have a little, here, I got this little pushy. I can move these in. There. Now you see I've got it in now because I can actually move it, and I want to center it on both sides of the sidebar so it's even. So it's kind of even. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so now, things happen. All right, so I finally got it in and it's ready for the wedge. So, as you can see, the wires are behind there, and now I'm going to lay the wedge along here. And this is sitting, the foundation is sitting in the groove. All right, so we're gonna come around here. I use this box to lean it against, and I put my wedge That's why it's called a wedge, so we can wedge the foundation in. All right, nice and tight. And you can see I use this air gun. I'll have to turn it on. I've got a, you want to show this, Neil? This little contraption? And I turn it on, hate the noise.
Okay.
So I've got the nail gun, and I'm going to put 5 nails, 1 in the center, and 1 at each end, and then 1 in the middle of those 2 from good measure. All right, so I'm going to there, 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 there. And you can see I've got 5 little nails in there. Okay, so the next step is embedding the wires into the foundation. Okay. All right, so I am attaching the green to this wire. It's kind of a ground. And then I'm going to take the red one, and I'm going to hold it on to this wire right here. Wait. Right here for like 2 seconds. And I'm going to press my hand on here. Just press it down. The wires are underneath it, so I've got to give it a bit of contact. All right, so we're going to try that. So I'm going to put my camera down right here so you can see. You probably won't be able to see very much. Right. Okay. All right, so let's go. I'm going to attach that, put my hand down. 1, 2. Do it a little bit longer. 1, 2. Whoa. Perfect. So you can see the wires have kind of melted through.